Heather, what are you hearing about whether or not it's realistic for the SEC to break away from the NCAA in the near future?
Oh, it's very real. And this is something that has been going on for months because SEC presidents and chancellors have been talking about this since about February when they met in Nashville to talk about options of self-governance if they cannot get federal legislation. I mean, that's where the conversations are. And you can look at the Big 12 and the Texas Tech incident with Brendan Sorsby as an example of what this means. Because when you're talking about breaking away from the NCAA, you're talking about making and enforcing your own rules. In that case, the NCAA wasn't able to enforce its own rules on gambling. So the SEC, and Greg Sankey will tell you, we already do make some of our rules and enforce them. But if they can't get help from the federal government, get some antitrust protection so that every time they try to make a rule, the NCAA, they don't get turned around and somebody sues them for it. That's what these conversations are about.
Okay, RC, you heard the question. Are the Super Bowl expectations realistic for the Cowboys this year?
You know what? They are realistic this year. You go get Christian Parker from the Philadelphia Eagles. He understands how to keep the top on the defense, not give up the big play. And you're expecting someone like DeMarvion Overshown to be exactly what we saw him ascending to be before the injury. We watched him play a little bit last year. I expect him to be fully healthy and be an X factor in what they want to do. It's also going to be about how you acclimate Caleb Downs. You pick him in the top 12 of the NFL draft. Many people thought he would go earlier. He's an absolute savant when it comes to defensive football. How do you implement him? How do you use him? Is he going to be the nickel? Is he going to be the down safety? Will you keep him in the middle of the field? Can we see him one-on-one with tight ends? That's going to be very important to this defense because let's not get it twisted. If this offense is the same thing, they just have to be all right this year. And so if we could see George Pickens in camp, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and Shoddy get those guys going, this could be a team that we're actually talking about at the end of the season, not just the beginning.
You know the saying, winning cures all. Michigan certainly did a lot of winning with Ward Manuel as their athletic director, including coming off a national championship in basketball. What about this investigation led them to make this decision now?
Well, it started obviously with the Sharon Moore incident, but this widespread investigation included looking into over 20,000 documents, interviewing hundreds of people, and at the end of the day, they found out that this culture review did not find that misconduct was widespread throughout Michigan's athletic department. But what it did find were weaknesses in accountability, organizational structure, oversight, and reporting, which created conditions which misconduct was not always addressed consistently. And the reality is, you look at the laundry list of issues here, this is something that was ongoing throughout Michigan's athletic department for a long time. So while the review did find that Ward Manuel was very supportive and a good leader in that athletic department, there were just too many of these other things that piled up.
Here's what Rory had to say.
I'm not particularly fond of him. I think a lot of it's performative. I think a lot of it's for attention.
And that was when he was asked his opinion on Bryson. He was like, I don't know if I'm the most fair opinion. I'm not particularly fond of him, this entire thing.
They barely had you.
Clearly not. And remember, Bryson had this with Brooks there for a little bit.
Yeah, too, right?
There are multiple people who have come out publicly and said, I don't like him about DeChambeau and the golf road, which is abnormal. My tweet said, I appreciate the amount of moxie it takes to say this in 2026 because Rory knows exactly what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. As soon as he says that, he knows it's gone. This is going to be a gigantic ordeal. So I like that he just stepped in Bear's box to say, I'll say it. I hate that guy.
Mm-hmm. He's the worst.
I mean, I like it. I'm not picking Rory's side over DeChambeau's side. I'm just saying in 2026, this is rare, it feels like. But this is a very rare thing for us to experience.
Absolutely. These are two guys who are, still somewhat in their prime. We're going to see these guys playing in majors for years to come. Hopefully we'll see them matched up on a Sunday pretty soon here. Awesome. We'll really see the drama. What was that? The U.S. Open where they were when Bryson won it? When they were playing together, or no, Rory won. I forget which one it was, but they didn't talk about not speaking pretty much the entire match, and then that was kind of a thing made about it. So I love this kind of another chapter in this drama with Bryson, kind of against some of these tour guys.
What it was in that match?
Rich, it's a hard one for me, and bear with me on this because I put it out. I find it interesting that the Golden Boot is decided by a game between two teams that have been eliminated. So listen, England and France played for essentially $2.48 million extra in prize money. Okay, that's nothing to sneeze at. Right. It's real money. However, all I'm saying is like the Golden Boot is decided on a game where two teams were eliminated. Now, as it stands, Messi wouldn't have won it anyways if Mbappe didn't score. So Mbappe still would be the Golden Boot. And I'm not saying it because I love Messi. It has nothing to do with that. But it does feel a little odd. And then I did research after I put it out on social media because I was like, wait a minute, how long has this been going on? The most goals scored in a World Cup was by a player, and I'm forgetting because it was like 1954 or 58. 13 goals scored in a single World Cup. 4 of those 13 goals were scored in the third place game. So this third place game has historically been around forever. Rich, I just wonder, it's 48 teams. It's going to go to 64 teams. Like, does FIFA look at this and say, hang on, third place game's still going to go. It's still going to be worth $2.5 to $3 million for the team. But the Golden Boot race cannot be decided on a game where two teams have been eliminated. Because in every other game in the World Cup, nobody's been eliminated. Now, in the group stage, you can be eliminated. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean the other team is. There's never a game in the World Cup where both teams are eliminated other than the third place game. That's where I was like, as good as the game was, Mbappe won the Golden Boot because he played in the third place game.
All right, now for some insight into what we saw in this World Cup final, we bring in Hercules Gomez. And look, Spain dominant this entire tournament. And on their way to winning the Cup, they had to beat some of the tournament's biggest heavyweights, teams that maybe thought were better than them coming in. So what impressed you the most, Herc, about how Spain handled all those different challenges?
That's exactly it, Mike. Let's think about this for a second. Portugal came across their road, and it was easy work. Belgium came across the road, very light work. And then after that, you get a team like France, who was, well, in everybody's eyes, the favorite in this tournament. And they dominate France with the ball. And you're thinking, okay, how about the final? How about with a player like Lionel Messi? How about with a player who's the all-time great in this sport? And they do it again. Argentina was pitiful, disgraceful, whatever adjective you want to use in this game because of Spain and how dominant they were with the ball. They never let Argentina into this game. They dictated play, and finally, football won. When they had to win the game, they did what was necessary, and they put Argentina to bed. But I'm most impressed with how dominant they were. Defensively, only 1 goal against, and it's not like it's just the defenders we're talking about. A complete performance for a team that has stars, but didn't have one single star, if I'm being honest, in this tournament. It was a team effort. Collectively, they were unbelievable.
I mean, speaking of stars, we got to talk about Lionel Messi because, you know, you look at the Argentina side, they struggled to find opportunities for chances on net. And granted, respect to Spain's defense, but no shots in 90 minutes, that was a surprise to see. So in what we do expect to be Messi's final World Cup experience and appearance, how will the performance of this Argentina team be remembered after coming up short of back-to-back world titles?
Yeah, well, it'll be remembered for 2 things. One, let's leave Messi for the side of it. It's Argentina and how they suffered all tournament. This really shouldn't be a surprise to us. It was a surprise, but it shouldn't be a surprise. They were suffering against the likes of Cape Verde. They were suffering against the likes of Egypt. They suffered against the likes of England. So when you come up against a dominant team like Spain, you're going to suffer. But it's the way they suffer, guys. You can lose, but it's how you lose. They never once were in this game. And if you have the world's greatest player that's ever played, you got to give him a chance to affect the game. A guy who was averaging 4 big plays a game, 4 big chances a game, touched very little of the ball, and I don't think it's all on Messi. It's not going to affect Messi's legacy, and this is where I want to go. Messi's still going to be the all-time great in this sport, and if you need statistics or trophies to tell you otherwise, I think you're in the wrong sport. Messi is in a different realm. We could have a serious argument about his place in sporting history and where he is amongst the world's best athletes in the history of sports, but it's not going to affect his legacy. But seeing this guy go out like that, I can't imagine this is the last time we see him. 4 years from now, the World Cup will be part of it in Argentina. If you were to ask me if it's the last we've seen of Lionel Messi, I thought we would have seen the last of him in Qatar, so I'm not too sure.
Hey.